Hello, this is Jorge Aranda. I'm submitting this video for the SUN Congress attached with my abstract titled Getting Rid of the Ego, Becoming One with the Other, a Somatic Experience. I am a British qualified osteopath. I got my bachelor's in osteopathic medicine. I also got a master's in pediatric osteopathy. At the moment I am doing my PhD by the University of Murcia in Spain. I practice osteopathy in a clinical environment, mainly with a pediatric population, and I am also involved in teaching and education. I teach osteopathy at the University of Murcia, Spain, and I also teach osteopathy at the University of Buenos Aires, Argentina. The topic that I would like to cover today is a protocol that I have designed and developed over the years, which is linked to physical symptoms, emotional and cognitive situation that the patient goes through, and the way for the patient to move through those two, the physical and the cognitive part, into a more wider, wiser perspective of himself and the interaction with the rest of us. This protocol includes different approaches and has different influences from different clinical approaches and disciplines. The key element about this protocol, about this guidance that I use, is including the osteopathic touch. So while the patient is going through this treatment, I have constant contact with the patient in different parts of the body according to the responses and according to the reaction that the patient is manifesting, is expressing. This protocol is mainly focused on helping the patient to realize how much he is driven by his ego in his thought, in his understanding of the world, and in his understanding of the relationship with other people and the rest. Through this first step about this realization of how much he's driven by the ego, we try to get rid of it, to eliminate it, and move on into a more unified space where the patient realizes from a cognitive and a physical way how much he is linked to others and how much he is part of everything. So first of all, what I do is ask the patient to lie on the bench, and I ask the patient to show me or to tell me what is the symptom in his body part. The symptom can be a discomfort, can be a sensation, or can be a painful area. Then I try to reproduce that emotion, that feeling, that sensation of pain, discomfort, or whatever the patient is presenting with. Then I try to reproduce the symptom in order to make it more evident for the patient. Once we have that, I ask the patient to try to link that feeling, that discomfort, with an emotion. This is the more important thing in order to start the whole protocol. So let's say the patient comes with a back pain. I don't care that much about the back pain. I care about the emotion that is linked, that is connecting the patient with that back pain. Once we have that, I move on and I try to ask the patient to describe a timeline. Once we have that, I ask the patient to move within his timeline into the oldest memory that he has of experiencing that emotion. If the memory is very recent, I ask the patient to go back forward into something a bit older, a situation older than that. Once we have that, I ask the patient to describe that memory, that event, with as many details as possible, mainly focusing on the characters, the people who were in that emotion, in that environment, and that were very responsible for what happened there. In that situation, I asked the patient to tell me what would he have done or say differently, because sometimes he's holding into that emotion because something that he did not say and he regret he didn't say something. So I asked the patient to go ahead and say it out loud so he can hear it himself. And then I will ask him to do something that he would have liked to do and he didn't do. And I asked him to go ahead and do it physically, like making a movement or making something with their hands or with their feet or something like that. Then I encourage them to feel again about that emotion, that memory, and how do they feel about it. If they feel a bit more neutral or a bit more happy or indifferent. Moving on into that, I asked the patient to tell me what would he have liked the other people to have said to them or have done different to him, to the patient who went through that situation. In that point, I encourage him to say that thing that he was willing for the other people to say to him, to do that thing that he was willing the other people to do to him. I asked the patient again, how does he feel now that we have changed a little bit that memory, or that we are interacting with the memory? And usually the patient is starting to feel a bit more comfortable with it, not so stressed about it. It's a bit more neutral. That will be the end of kind of like the first step in which we realize how much the ego is holding into with that emotion, and how much the ego was hurt, and that is what it was driving his emotion, his thought, and possibly his symptom that he originally came with. And then we move into step 2. The step 2 will be trying to become one with the other. So I asked him, why do you think those people did that thing? And try to make the patient step on their shoes and see the things from the perspective, the point of view of the other people. Then he started to realize the behavior that the other people had. I asked the patient, what would you like those people to say to you right now? I don't care if those people are not here or even if they are dead, but it's important that the patient try to make that connection. Once he's feeling even happier and more relaxed and neutral about it, I have to conclude this, including them in all one situation. So I ask the patient to make them, the other people from the memory, to say to him, thank you for what you did, forgive me for what you did, I am sorry, and I love you. And I really want them to mean it. And then I would change places and I would ask the patient to say to him, thank you for what you did, sorry for what you did to me, for how I felt about it, I forgive you for what you did to me, and I do love you. At this point, the patient is quite concerned about how important love is within all of us, and how love is the key element that is going to bring us all together. In this point, I ask the patient to realize how much he is like the others, and now that he understands how the others behave, he can realize that what he does to them is what them does to him. So you cannot do something to them without doing it to yourself, and vice versa. And in that way, he is starting to realize that we are all connected, and there is no difference between you and me, and we are all one. Thank you very much. I hope you find this approach interesting, and that is of some of your interest to link the non-duality concept and helping people to start opening their mind and realizing about how things are in reality. Thank you.